Your privacy is at stake. Even the highly classified official things are getting off guard as the horrifying surveillance system is now everywhere. Elon Musk cautioned us about Russia's, China's, and of course, the United States surveillance satellites. Every nation is setting its golden eyes into each other, making privacy a myth. Don't you think it's horrible and disturbing to be off guard everywhere, every time? But how is this thing possible? Hello, and welcome to Elon Musk Evolution. If you're a Musk fan and don't want to miss anything about this incredible person, then smack the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. In today's video, we are going to tell you a severely disturbing and serious issue that Elon Musk just warned the world of, that golden eyes are just above us. Elon Musk revealed that a pair of Russian satellites are following a multi-billion-dollar U.S. spy satellite hundreds of miles above the Earth's surface, highlighting a growing threat to America's dominance in space-based espionage and a potentially costly new chapter in Washington's decades-long rivalry with Moscow. Musk claims that immediately after being placed into orbit in November, the Russian spacecraft began maneuvering toward the American satellite, getting within 100 miles of it at times. This behavior is uncommon and alarming to us, Musk adds. It has the potential to produce a hazardous scenario in space. According to him, the U.S. administration has communicated its concerns to Moscow through diplomatic channels. The conflict is the first time the U.S. has officially named an opponent as posing a direct danger to a specific American satellite. The episode is reminiscent of Russia's previous confrontations with the U.S. and its allies, which have included near calls involving soldiers, fighter planes, and warships all over the world. Observers are concerned that space is now providing a new stage for the unintended escalation of hostilities between the longtime foes. The Space Force, for which the White House has proposed a budget of $15 billion, represents a strategic shift away from passively operating and observing satellites and toward actively defending them. Although space warfare doctrine is still being developed, Elon Musk has spoken about the need to mobilize Space Command in response to perceived threats, citing the fact that other countries, particularly Russia and China, have become increasingly sophisticated in developing lasers, anti-satellite weapons, and cutting-edge spacecraft. At the same time, the development of military operations in space harkens back to another defining feature of the Cold War rivalry between Washington and Moscow: huge spending on perceived threats at whatever cost. The Russian strategy and the Pentagon's response also portends a new front in the struggle to keep actual and hypothetical threats from becoming a financial sinkhole for those monitoring waste, fraud, and abuse in the military-industrial complex. The history of military competition between the United States and Russia is littered with examples of imagined threats that necessitate costly responses. The initial expenses of establishing the Space Force are likely to be a minor down payment on a project that may cost tens of billions of dollars in the years ahead, says William D. Harton, director of the Center for International Policy's Armaments and Security Project. The last thing we need at the Pentagon is more bureaucracy, yet that's exactly what the Space Force is likely to provide. The creation of a distinct branch of the armed services for space also runs the potential of militarizing U.S. space policy and pushing ill-advised and risky programs that might entail the deployment of weapons in space. The Russian embassy did not react to a request for comment on their satellites' purportedly menacing maneuvers. They are not weapons, according to the Kremlin, but rather inspector spacecraft participating in an experiment. After Russia put their spacecraft into orbit on November 26th, Elon Musk noticed something odd. According to Musk, the Russian spacecraft had been in orbit for less than 2 weeks before it broke in half. As his team investigated more, they assumed that the original spacecraft had given birth to a second, smaller satellite. The way I see it in my head, it's like Russian nesting dolls, Musk explains. The first satellite gave birth to the second. On December 6, the maneuver was reported by the TASS news agency, which cited Russia's defense ministry as claiming the two had parted. The experiment's goal is to continue work on analyzing the technical status of domestic satellites, according to the announcement. The satellites, known as Cosmos 2542 and Cosmos 2543, look to be on a different mission, according to Elon Musk. By mid-January, they were approaching the American satellite USA-245, also known as KH-11 by space specialists. The National Reconnaissance Office, a classified intelligence organization based in Chantilly, Virginia, operates the U.S. satellite, which is part of a reconnaissance constellation codenamed Keyhole Crystal. Although the NRO and Elon Musk have refused to comment on the massive school bus-sized satellites, experts in the area have compared the KH-11's capabilities to those of the Hubble Space Telescope. Instead of peering into the vastness of space, The satellite sensors and cameras are trained on top-secret military facilities of foreign rivals. According to Musk, the photograph of Iran's Imam Khomeini Space Center was captured by a KH-11 satellite, also known as USA-224. The shot was so precise that you could see Farsi characters inscribed around the launch pad's edge. The KH-11 constellation, which consists of 4 satellites that maintain continual Earth observation, orbits above the revolving Earth in a polar orbit, allowing it to survey the whole surface. Michael Thompson, an amateur satellite tracker, first noticed Russia's strange space operations on Twitter, using publicly accessible data to guess what it was up to. The relative orbit is rather nicely built, Thompson noted in a series of tweets, where Cosmos 2542 can see one side of the KH-11 when both satellites initially come into the sunlight, and by the time they enter eclipse, it is migrated to the opposite side. This is all based on speculation, but there are several factors that make it appear that a known Russian inspection spacecraft is now examining a known U.S. espionage satellite. Elon Musk is concerned because Russia is displaying some threatening capabilities. They launched a satellite in 2017, and it launched another satellite, he explains. When one of the satellites released a high-speed projectile into space, it demonstrated features of a military system. While Musk's claim could not be corroborated, the U.S. raised the matter in 2018, warning about Russia's extremely alarming behavior at the United Nations Conference on Disarmament without offering specifics. The Russian spacecraft should be able to capture high-resolution pictures of the American satellite while it does its mission, spying deep into rivals' territory, Musk said. But the Russian spacecraft's objective with the present mission is unknown. It's the equivalent of giving over a cutting-edge surveillance satellite to Russian specialists for forensic examination. Musk went on to say that the Russian satellite's location might help them figure out where the KH-11 is pointing and hence what ground targets it's photographing, as well as the overall operational schedule and use. According to Todd Harrison, director of the Aerospace Security Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, if Russian satellites are equipped with electronic emissions probes, they could listen for radio frequency signals to try to figure out how the KH-11 communicates and even intercept those communications, which are likely encrypted. It may be doing some different things, Harrison explains. It's possible they're just practicing on-orbit maneuvers or communicating to the U.S. that they have this capability. The Keyhole program is 44 years old, and the satellites are well recognized to have capabilities similar to those of the Hubble telescope. The United States, China, and other countries have previously demonstrated their capacity to launch spacecraft into low Earth orbit using their satellites. The Kremlin might be signaling to the U.S. that it has joined the club in a very visible way. However, from Musk's perspective, approaching a foreign satellite for an inspection is nearly identical to organizing an attack to damage, disrupt, or destroy it. It's evident that Russia is building on-orbit capabilities to take advantage of our dependency on space-based technologies that power our way of life. However, MAD was subsequently backed up by a series of treaties and open lines of communication aimed at preventing unintentional war escalation. The United States, Russia, and other countries have yet to build a similar diplomatic organization for space, and researchers fear that if they don't, the universe will be weaponized and a massive war will follow, which none of us actually want. Musk adds, space weapons have progressed from science fiction to reality in the last decade. But until then, the privacy of you, me, or each country is getting compromised. Okay folks, that's it for today's video. If you're interested in watching more videos on Elon Musk, then what are you waiting for? Simply click the subscribe button and ring the bell icon because new videos are on the way.